So I'll try to sum this up in 10 minutes or less. Okay, so I pull up to my local coffee spot, and what do I see at the bookshop that is at Compass Coffee? But a book called Youth to Power, authored by Jamie Margolin, who is someone, a political activist that I've been following on Instagram for quite a spell. Before she disabled her comments, I would comment my sweet nothings to her and get little hearts. So anyway, I was following Jamie Margolin as she wrote this book and published it and promoted it, and so this is something that hits slightly close to my heart, as maybe I would be of the giant shoulders she has stood on, and she's mentioned in her writings that some of the activism that she follows she would long for, or maybe envy. In these ways, who knows? I've been politically active for a long time, so picking up this book, I was expecting maybe a blast of negative connotation about the climate disasters and doom and gloom, which I often find in the climate activism community. And it's one of the things, if you know me, is that I don't have the ear for is doom and gloom. I'm a solutions-based person, solutions-oriented person. So picking up this book, I was expecting it to be a lot of reference of just climate anxiety and whatnot. And pleasantly surprising, it was not that. So I'll try to give my honest to God critique, and also just pros and cons of Jamie Margolin's book, which I enjoyed. Maybe read it about 2 hours and a extra 30 minutes. So goodness gracious. Okay, where do I start? First of all, so one thing that I feel like I notice about people that are genuinely talented and extraordinary minded people is that they often humble themselves in the form of but just faith, great faith and belief in their fellow human beings, because for them to be so elevated is to also believe that we're also capable of doing what they do. And Jamie Margolin is the epitome to that. In my opinion, baby girl, not all of us are so capable. And the humble approach, I feel like, for some of the most intelligent people is to you know hell, here, look, you can do what I did, like boom, there you go. But it doesn't work like that. You have every right to be um, maybe audacious or egotistical in these references. But the best thing one could do when being such an extraordinary minded person, I would think, is to deliver a step by step guide to follow the steps that have been taken by said person. So that's what this book is. It is not a doom and gloom and a big enhancement on the climate anxiety. This is a step by step reference that, although it is climate based, any activism issue, any issue of activism that any person wanted to take could read this book step by step, follow the guidelines, with the exception of SEO. There's no mention of SEO, by the way. But could study these guidelines, follow these guidelines, and take their issue to the home plate with it. That said, too, the humanity and activism go hand in hand all throughout history, and the topics that are discussed in this book are the popular items of the day, and again, anybody that's looking to get started in activism, this book is a great way to learn how to go. Although Jamie Margolin had an advanced approach at a very young age, like Greta Thunberg, who I didn't know this, but reading this book, Jamie Margolin may have been the spark to Greta Thunberg's fire with her 0 hour movement before Fridays for Future. Happy Friday Eve, by the way. Before Fridays for Future became a thing. It also, by the way, like Greta Thunberg might have done Andrew Tate a huge favor by just like supposing he gets over his legal woes, just bringing all that out to light, and then he gets past it and moves forward with all whatever haram bullshit that is to be dealt with by that man next. So anyway, I want to. Okay, so goodness gracious, there's so much good in this book to be mentioned. And I don't even know where to start. Besides, my favorite question ever is why. And you can ask that into infinity, and that is the theme of the first chapter. Fucking brilliant. And also, each of the chapters includes a little mini interview that Jamie Margolin would do with her fellow activists on, in a variety of places. But the very first one in the very beginning of this book, which I love to hear even just the slightest mention of, is the sixth mass extinction, because most people don't even know there's 5 great extinction level events. In the sixth mass extinction, which goodness gracious, everyone that subscribes to climate change, just we could talk about the mass extinction level event because that echoes in so many ways, huge ripple effect, and it's arguably I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've already surpassed the 5th extinction level event. The 6th extinction level event has already occurred, and we may be even swimming in the wake of it right now. And that is ultimately the call for action when it comes to climate activism, things like this, because what are we going to do without the beast? And that's where we're going. And by the way, I subscribe to global cooling myself when it comes to these things. But me, president of Earth-based Martian government, I also have a handle on that when it comes to my ideas and concepts for climate control. And this is how I personally view the planet Mars as our make and model for how we stabilize climate on Earth with our weather control equipment that we can exercise freely at our will over there. So another thing that I literally liked about this book is this is one part where she says something about the political representation and everything. She'll be talking to these people and they'll be like, "Oh, good job, keep going, you're gonna change the world." And she says, and I would just want to cut her off in this sentence because she says, "Oh, you're so right and you're so wrong," but dude, just stop right there. Just own it. Like, you're so right. Yeah. Like just like that. Don't be so humble. Where are we at? 8 minutes? Oh goodness. Okay. What else? What else I also really enjoyed about this book is that okay, let's start with morality. Jamie Margolin mentions that morality is a factor that the youth have to their advantage, which I completely disagree with, and this is why. Because senses and ideas of morality change with experience as unpredictable events happen in one's life and occurs. And from the age, say, 18 to 25 is a grand example of this, where the things that happen in life change your perspective to the degree that morality is no longer relevant from what you believe then to then. And I will use climate activism. A lot of times it's trying to change laws, very expensive laws. And obviously, the reason why these laws don't change for things like the Green New Deal is bureaucracy. We're talking about the red tape, and that red tape is morality. And I'm going to reference the issue of ageism for this, in that the red tape of bureaucracy and morality is opinion-based. These are arbitrary opinions, and I'll use Leonardo DiCaprio, an activist in the climate game, where his current situation right now and in regards to ageism is people say Leonardo DiCaprio's dating a 19-year-old. That's fucked up. That's an opinion. That's an arbitrary opinion. You can flip it the other way and say a 19-year-old is dating Leonardo DiCaprio, a climate activist. See how that works? That's bureaucracy. That's the red tape. And that's where we get into the game of civil disobedience, my favorite form of criminality. And concepts that introduced to me by, what was Jamie Margolin, 18 years old when she wrote this book. And I give people credit in the sense that, I'm a father myself. My Prometheus and his toddler cohorts are all on different levels, and you cannot interpret intelligence by age. That is a fact. And when it comes to Jamie Margolin being 18 and me being 39, the same climate activism for the longest time, this girl has introduced me to new concepts and civil disobedience that I had been on verse to. I've read the Black Panther Party, but I'd never heard of negative peace before. That's a concept that I hadn't heard of before, where your peace is actually not positive, and to disrupt that peace, you need criminality, you need civil disobedience, you need to cut that red tape. And I really picked that up in this book as a gem that I will carry with me now, because negative peace is something that I'd never heard of before, and Jamie Margolin, 18 years old, delivered that to my 39-year-old brain, and for that I'm grateful. I love learning new things. um what else? We're at 12 minutes. uh I would say this too, in a lot of ways, that I read the things that are important to Jamie Margolin and her activism, and I observe, the world of activism, political establishments in these ways that sometimes the trend line is manipulated, and when it comes to a lot of the popular ordeals, I look at it. I look at these things like they can be dragged in to the forefront as a smokescreen or a curtain for what kind of unimaginably benevolent realities that we could find. We stay focused on solutions versus the rabble. I mean, when you spread the curtains beyond the rabble, the light is bright. And I don't mean to offend anybody or be a total dick. I would suggest to many of the interviewees of Jamie Margolin and herself to not look past artificial intelligence and the capabilities of artificial intelligence on this planet. When it comes to a lot of the issues that we hold dear, can be resolved with quantum computations and potentially be greater threats to us. And by this I mean, say that Earth-based Martian government wins the 2024 presidency and puts Guy McPherson's biggest fears to rest with our greatest capabilities, that we easily resolve the world's greatest issues. Say that we put all these world's greatest issues to rest. Climate change is no longer an issue. We actually have total control of the climate now. And we're working on total control of the planet Mars. Blowing up volcanoes over there, so Yellowstone's never an issue. What happens then? We have accelerated rapidly beyond our abilities to grow with artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence wipes us out regardless of whether we have control of the weather or not. And so my suggestion to the featured in this book, anybody reading this book, and Jamie herself, would be to not sleep on artificial intelligence. Okay. All that said, my political so relatable this book. My political activism began. Look, my climate political activism began in 2006, and I quickly found myself in a march in LA, to a global strike against George Bush and all these things. And so I held the megaphone there, and so many people, and I've held the megaphone a few times, but I just want to tell my little story real quick before I hop out of here. At the North Dakota Access Pipeline protest in Akron, Ohio, I was handed the megaphone by my dude Matt Hamlin. So my dude Matt hands me the megaphone, and there I am, 1,000 people. We're doing the chant. I mentioned transforming our dirty ways and the clean ways, whether or not the weather's changing, just because that's a good and healthy thing anyway. And so I'm leading the chant, and I don't remember exactly how it goes, but this really happened. Okay, I love to tell this story. So okay, um, so I don't know what the hell or why, but yo, all right. So I got the megaphone, and I'm leading the chant, and I don't remember exactly how it goes, but this is exactly how it went. We'll just say that it was no water, no home, which it very well could be. So we're all doing the chant: no water, no home, no water, no home. And I just throw in there, ET phone home. Swear to God, everybody repeated it exactly as I said it. No water, no home. No water, no home. ET phone home. ET phone home. It just went right back into it, like, dude. Oh, the power of our mirror neurons, huh? Hey, you can read my mind any day, Jamie Margolin. Mine Wechoni.